You're asleep in your warm bed, but something inside your brain is quietly going wrong. It won't wake you with pain. It won't scream for help. Instead, the warning may be as small as a confused moment, a strange numbness, or a flicker of darkness in one eye. And if you miss it by the time morning comes, it might be too late. Hi, I'm Dr. Jonathan Myers. After 30 years treating stroke patients across the U.S., I can tell you this: many strokes whisper before they roar. In this video, I'll show you 3 nighttime signals that a stroke could be just hours away, plus how to catch them in time to save your life or someone you love. Let's begin with the first hidden sign. Imagine this. It's 2 a.m. You wake up to use the bathroom, but something feels off. You walk into the hallway and suddenly can't remember which way the bedroom is. You look at the light switch and forget how to turn it on. Or worse, you find yourself in the kitchen but have no idea why you're there. This isn't just being groggy. It could be one of the earliest signs that your brain isn't getting enough blood and that a stroke may be coming within hours. Sudden nighttime confusion or disorientation is a red flag that something is interrupting normal brain function. And during sleep, when your brain is already in a vulnerable, low-activity state, even a small drop in blood flow, especially to areas involved in memory and orientation, can cause you to wake up confused or mentally foggy. The danger: most people dismiss it. They assume it's just age, or sleepwalking, or side effects from medication. But confusion that comes on out of nowhere, especially if it wasn't happening the day before, should never be ignored. In stroke care, we call this a transient ischemic attack, TIA, or mini-stroke. It may not cause lasting damage, but it often warns that a major stroke is imminent within 24 to 48 hours. And here's something critical. This type of disorientation doesn't always feel dramatic. It might be subtle, like fumbling your words, misjudging the doorframe, or suddenly forgetting how to get back to bed. If this ever happens to you or a loved one during the night, don't chalk it up to age or a bad dream. Call 911 immediately, because the next symptom might not give you time to react. Let's move on to the second nighttime signal, one that shows up in your vision and can strike like a thief in the dark. Now picture this. You wake up and your room looks strange. One side is dim, blurry, or shadowed. Maybe your vision doubles for a moment, or everything looks like it's covered in fog. You blink, rub your eyes, even turn on the light, but it doesn't go away. This is not just sleep in your eyes. It could be your brain sending a final warning signal. Sudden visual disturbances, especially at night, are one of the most overlooked signs of a stroke in progress. Why? Because most people assume it's just poor lighting fatigue or dry eyes. But here's what you need to know. Your eyes may be healthy, but your brain is what interprets vision. When a stroke affects the occipital lobe, the vision center of the brain, or the blood vessels supplying it, you may experience blurriness or fog in one eye, temporary loss of vision in half your visual field, double vision or visual splitting, a dark shadow like a curtain being drawn over part of your eyesight. These symptoms are especially dangerous at night when your senses are dulled and you're likely to dismiss them or just go back to bed. But doing so could cost you the critical window for stroke treatment. And here's the key detail most people miss. If only one eye is affected, it's often a sign of a blockage in the blood vessels behind the eye, an ocular TIA, which can precede a full stroke by hours. I had a patient who thought he was just seeing auras in the dark. The next morning, he couldn't see at all in one eye and had missed the stroke's warning sign. If you wake up and your vision is off, even for just a few minutes, treat it as an emergency. Turn on a bright light, check each eye separately, and ask yourself, is this normal for me? If the answer is no, call 911, because the next sign may affect something even more basic, your ability to speak clearly. Let's go to the third nighttime signal. You reach for a glass of water beside the bed. Maybe you say something to your spouse or even mutter a few words to yourself. But the words sound strange, slurred, garbled, or worse, they just don't come out right. If you've ever woken up and your speech felt off, don't brush it off as sleepiness. Slurred or confused speech at night can be one of the most urgent signs that your brain is under attack. When a stroke disrupts the blood flow to the language centers in your brain, such as Broca's or Wernicke's area, you may struggle to form words, speak clearly, understand what others are saying, or even string together a simple sentence. Now here's where things get tricky at night. Because we often don't talk much while we're half asleep, this symptom can be easily missed. Many people experience it briefly and fall back asleep not realizing they've just had a transient ischemic attack, a mini-stroke. And when they wake up the next morning, full-blown paralysis or severe speech loss may already be underway. I remember a patient, let's call him Mr. Walker. Around 3 a.m., he tried to ask his wife for help finding his glasses, but what came out was a jumbled mess of syllables. She thought he was dreaming, but something told her to turn on the light and ask him to repeat it. When he couldn't say her name clearly, she called 911. That call saved his life. If your words ever feel trapped slow or twisted during the night, even for just a few seconds, treat it like a flashing red light. Try this test. Repeat a simple sentence like, "The sky is blue" out loud. If you can't get it out cleanly, don't wait. Because now you've seen the 3 clearest red flags that stroke may be just hours away. But what happens when someone actually listens to those signals in time? Let me tell you the true story of a man who did just in time. His name was Harold Thompson, 66 years old, a retired high school principal in rural Ohio. He'd always considered himself in pretty good shape. No major medical issues, still walked a mile each morning, took care of his yard, and rarely missed Sunday church. But one night changed everything. It was 3 a.m. when Harold woke up suddenly. At first he thought it was a dream. The room felt strange, like the air was heavier. He tried to sit up but felt slightly off balance. Then he reached for his water bottle and dropped it. That's when he mumbled what's going on, but the words didn't sound right even to himself. Harold had watched one of our videos just a few weeks before. He remembered sudden confusion, vision problems, slurred speech. He looked into the small mirror on his nightstand. His left eyelid looked lower. He tried to smile, only the right side moved. And when he said, "The sky is blue," the words came out warped. He didn't hesitate. Harold nudged his wife awake. "Call 911, he said, struggling to get the words out. She saw the fear in his eyes and the droop in his face. Within 10 minutes, paramedics were there. Within 45 minutes, he was in the ER getting a brain scan. It was a minor stroke, but because Harold acted fast, he received clot-busting medication within the critical treatment window. Today, Harold is walking, talking, and even mentoring other stroke survivors at his community center. He told me during a follow-up appointment it was that mirror and that video. "Doc, if I had rolled over and gone back to sleep, I might not be here." His story isn't just inspirational, it's instructional, because it proves one simple truth. Noticing the signs and acting on them can save your life. But how much time do you really have to act? Let's break down why every second matters in stroke detection, especially at night. When it comes to stroke, the phrase "time is brain" isn't just a medical slogan, it's a literal fact. Every minute a stroke goes untreated, the brain can lose nearly 2 million neurons. That's memory, speech, coordination, and personality disappearing silently while you sleep. And at night, the danger multiplies because symptoms can be mistaken for grogginess dreams or just a bad night. That's what makes recognizing the early signals so critical. When a stroke begins during sleep or just after waking, it's often what we call a wake-up stroke. These account for up to 25% of all ischemic strokes. The challenge. Many patients don't realize something is wrong until hours later, which means they often miss the golden treatment window for drugs like TPA, a clot-busting medication that works best within 4.5 hours. The longer you wait, the fewer options you have. The more brain cells die, the higher the risk of permanent disability or death. That's why waking up confused, suddenly losing vision, or noticing slurred speech is not something to sleep off. It's a flashing red warning light that you need emergency care now. And if you're able to spot those symptoms early, like Harold did, and get to the ER quickly, you could be walking out of the hospital with your independence intact. So don't dismiss the odd feeling at 3 a.m. Don't wait until morning to see if it gets better. Trust your instinct. Use a mirror. Wake someone up. Call 911. Because when a stroke strikes in the night, you don't have hours, you have minutes. And in those minutes, your life could be saved or lost. When it comes to stroke, the danger doesn't always arrive with a bang. It can whisper in the dark while the world sleeps. If you notice confusion, vision changes, or slurred speech at night, don't wait until morning. These are not just quirks of aging or fatigue. They may be your brain's final warning before a life-altering event. As a stroke specialist, I urge you trust your instincts. If something feels off, get checked immediately. It's always better to have a false alarm than a missed chance. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone you love. It could save a life. I'm Dr. Jonathan Myers, and I'll see you in the next video where we keep decoding the subtle ways your body tries to protect you before it's too late.